we're going to reserve that for a second.
Yeah.
Because we have a special guest
Oh,
right now.
we certainly do.
We have our man, a man that has counted down the Canon Karma. We have delivered as best we can.
Always.
He's sold on Ty's
The
influence.
Lucky Charm, yeah.
The Lucky Charm, as it was with that great win against Nevada earlier this year. The head basketball coach of San Diego State, Brian Dutcher, is joining us right now. Coach, how are you today?
Great, guys. How we doing?
Oh, couldn't be better right now, Coach.
Yeah, we're about to take in a night of Aztecs baseball here on Extra 1360. Going to see the Toreros go down, at Fowler Field. So excited for all that, but I'm really, really excited about the basketball program and some of the moves that you guys have pulled off, the most recent of which is grabbing this JUCO transfer, National Signing Day. You guys get Trey Pulliam, he's 6'3" guard out of Navarro College. Walk me through this courting process, how you guys were able to find him, what you think of him as a player, and how he's going to help your team.
We knew guard was a real important need for us this year, obviously with Devin Watson and Jeremy Hemsley graduating as seniors. And we knew we had Malachi Flynn sitting last year and a dynamic scorer. We got KJ Fagan, a fifth-year senior that can both score and distribute. And we just felt we wanted a guard that played with great pace, that could really involve his teammates, knows how to play off a ball screen. It has some experience. I want to stay older in the backcourt, and so we picked up Trey. We think he's a great addition, and he's a classic example of a kid getting hurt his senior year of high school, kind of sliding under the radar, and then getting himself back established at the junior college level.
Coach, the thing about San Diego State, and this goes back through the history of the program, is that balance between, freshman recruits, obviously, transfer players, JC players. It seems like that's a lot of work. How are you able to scan the country and find different prospects from so many different outlets?
You want to have the right mix. Obviously high school kids are where it starts. We've had tremendous success with transfers, both fifth-year transfers and guys that have to transfer in city year. And then we've added selectively a junior college piece or two. And so it's mixing all those things together to try to put a team out there that you fill all your needs, you don't mess with your chemistry, that everybody in the program has a chance to play and contribute. And I think we've been working on that formula. It's not over. We have another young man visiting this weekend, a fifth-year senior. I can't talk namely about by name, but a good player. We had a transfer in last week from a Pac-12 school that visited. So we're still adding pieces and continue to recruit. That's
what I was going to say. Fagan, of course, coming in as well. I mean, it's just an interesting mix. The idea that we've gone through a whole new look. I go back to your earliest days in college basketball, Coach, and even back to the Fab Five days where you knew you were going to have a Weber for a couple of years. But even then, back if it was nowadays, he would have been a one and done. You had a Jalen Rose for 3. At that kind of thing.
Rob
Palinka for okay. But anyway,
Rob for 4 or 5.
Right. Yeah, Palinka never wanted to leave. I think he's still there. But the idea of having a player for a year, what kind of challenge is that from a coach's standpoint? If you bring in a player that's only going to be there for just a single season, whether it's a one and done freshman or a transfer player.
It's a tough formula for a lot of teams because unlike Duke or Kentucky, where they're getting 4 or 5 of those type of guys on the same team, if you just add one, you want to add that guy with some experience around him. You don't want 5 freshmen out there, all of the Fab Five, unless they're all very talented, which they were. And so you have to recruit freshmen. We had 5 of them last year, and obviously one of them started, and Nathan Mensah, and the other ones continue to develop. And so you mix the youth, you mix it with experience, and the best team in our conference last year, for a lot of it, was Nevada, and they had 5 fifth-year starters in the lineup. So they had a lot of experience. And then there was Utah State that had a good mix. They had some kids off missions that were a little older, but they had a great freshman in Cada. And then Sam Merrill, a kid that took a mission and is going into his senior year this year. So there's all sorts of different ways to piece it together. And I think we've done a good job of doing that over the years.
We're talking with Brian Dutcher, San Diego State head coach on the basketball team. The renewal period, by the way, for season tickets currently underway. Fans wishing to be added to the wait list may do so now by contacting the Sdsu ticket office at 619-283-7378. Very excited to have Brian Dutcher joining us today because you've been busy on this recruiting trail. I'm getting excited already for the next basketball season. It was a great one this past year. After a year ago and your first year as the head coach of this team, making it all the way to the tournament, expectations are high. You're adding some players, older players to work in with these younger guys. How do you do that when you're adding players that you sort of view would end up being natural leaders of a young team walking in the doors, may only have a year left of eligibility, maybe a couple? How do you help them along and make them the leaders you sort of perceive them to be?
You know, a guy like Malachi Flynn, you know, obviously he had a transfer in city year. And so he saw the dynamics of the team. He saw what was needed. And he's already stepped up in a leadership role in our workouts that we've had since the season. KJ Fagan is, all reports, is a natural-born leader. And is leaving not because he wasn't scoring points. He averaged 17 a game and averaged 4 assists. He's leaving because he wants to win. And so we're adding pieces that are about the right things. They're about winning. They're about helping the Aztecs be as good as they can be. They're not as involved with individual statistics. They're about helping San Diego State win basketball games.
Aztecs basketball coach Brian Dutcher. Coach Dutch is joining us right now. So as Jalen McDaniels gets ready for the NBA draft, his brother Jaden does not seem to be in a hurry on making his final decision. 5 programs are in the running. There's Kentucky, there's Texas, there's UCLA, there's Washington, and there is San Diego State. When you have a 5-star recruit that is interested in your program, and obviously that doesn't happen a lot for any program, to be honest with you, how difficult is it to play the waiting game? I mean, you've done everything you can, obviously, to present the best case for a recruit like this. What can you do, if anything, at this point?
You know, I can't speak specifically about the young man from Seattle, even though I had his brother, because it would be a violation. But I would say this with recruiting. You put your best foot forward. You sell yourself. You sell the program. You show them what you're about. And in the end, they have to sit and digest all that. And the thing that people don't realize with recruiting is they don't have a bad decision. You know, if all of a sudden a kid says, well, I'm either going to go UCLA, USC, San Diego State, Oregon, or Cal, and he goes to one of those schools, obviously everyone's disappointed, the 4 schools that didn't get that young man, but they're all great choices. And so everybody makes them for different reasons, and you just have to keep battling with the recruiting and know that if you keep working hard, and you put yourself in front of enough really good kids, you're going to get your share of them.
All right, without mentioning specifically, again, even though I've already mentioned, I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed. That's all I know. Yeah. And I do know this. We had Jalen on the day he announced that he was going to, opt out for the NBA draft. We did ask him about, the aforementioned player, and he assured us that his time at San Diego State, he cherished every moment, Coach, and we know that.
Jalen was a great player for us, and we wish him well with the upcoming draft. We've had teams call us, and, some of them really like him, obviously. They think he's got a chance to go in the first round. Obviously, others think there's things he still needs to work on, but that's the thing with recruiting is same with drafting. You know what kind of piece you want. Sometimes you say they may not be there right now, but in a year or two they're going to get there. And so a lot of it is projecting, even at the NBA level.
Look, we were just talking about Prospect X in the NFL draft. Let's talk. Well, we'll just refer to this recruit as Recruit X for the San Diego State Aztecs. Again, renewal period for season tickets currently underway. So reach out to the SDSU ticket office, 619-283-7378 right now if you want to get on that wait list. And you should do so because Recruit X, I'm feeling good about this.
Oh, I'm feeling good.
Hey, Coach, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, guys, and give that baseball team a little karma, please.
We will always do it. Coach Martinez, he's a cannon guy, too,
Absolutely.
Coach. He knows that. All right, Coach, thanks so much. We'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks for having me.